Welcome to Down to Dunk. I'm Jesse Schlecht. We're part of the Athletic Podcast Network. With me, as always, on Mondays is my good friend, Michele Vera. Michele, what's up?
Hey, it's still incredible that Pokusevski is the king of the Down to Dunk intro. I mean, the picture with the red suit, it's kind of creepy. He looks so skinny, like so incredibly skinny.
Oh, he's so skinny.
Like it in the last picture that was on the internet. Like he seems exactly the same.
He is very thin. Yeah. By the way, that was a joke. If anybody doesn't understand what jokes are, they're supposed to be funny. It's supposed to be funny that he's still so skinny. No, it's just hard to tell. I think that I guarantee you the thing about that I know about Poku is that he's really putting in the work right now.
Yeah.
Whether that pays off or whether that equals he adds this much muscle or adds this much weight or whatever it means, like we don't know that. But I know for certain that this dude, like all he does is play basketball. All he does is try to get better, which is really exciting. And it still doesn't guarantee you anything with him, but as far as becoming a great NBA player, but he's at least, I think that one, I think being in Oklahoma City really helps that cause. But then two, I think that he really does want to be a good player. So that helps quite a bit.
And
so
also,
it's exciting to think about.
If I ask you, would you prefer him being 10 pounds stronger or 10% more accurate on three-pointers? I mean, to me, it's not even a question. Who cares about the muscle that he has in year 2? Oh, I can't hear you now.
Oh, how about this?
It's me.
Yep, sorry.
Yes.
So that was me.
Yes.
That was me. I'm off my game. I've been gone. I've been in the woods for I've been in the woods for several days. So here's another reason why we shouldn't care about the weight is because he's a wing.
Yeah.
We're not talking about a guy, a 7-footer that's going to play center or that down the road, like this will be the starting center for the Thunder.
Who knows?
I feel like I kind of know. Down the road. I mean, maybe down the road, but man, for now, this is a wing. He's a wing.
Yes.
And he may be able to switch and guard some really skinny centers at some point. He does have a really strong base, and Sam Vecini piped in my mentions and said that his legs look way bigger to him. And so that will help with that. Like that will help just having that base.
Hey, Sam, you already raised all our expectations so much on Pokusevski, and he's keep doing it. Why? Like
he loves him, man. He loves him.
Yeah, I know.
Sam and I have been doing videos for the Athletic on the Athletic YouTube page on different prospects, and we just did one that was released yesterday on Alperen Şengün, and we talk a little bit about Poku and Şengün's fit together. So you should go watch it, listen to it, leave a comment, press the like button. That would be great.
Yeah, I mean, those videos are great. I mean, it's just good to have all that content out there, and the fact that you are able to do it with Sam, it's incredible.
It is so weird.
He knows it all.
He knows so much. Sam is so smart. I feel I'm glad that I am just throwing stuff at him because I feel like, oh my gosh, like I cannot believe that I'm doing these videos with Sam Vecini. This is unbelievable. So the NBA draft, we're almost a week away, Michele. I think we're 10 days away from the NBA draft. One, you need to make plans to join us at Fassler Hall. It's in Midtown OKC, and it's a big, giant location that will host all of us Down to Dunkers. So be sure to join us. We will be there at 6 p.m., maybe even earlier. If you want to get there earlier, fine by me. And we will be there throughout the entirety of the draft. The Thunder have lots and lots of picks in this draft, so I think the excitement should last pretty much the whole time, at least through 35. I mean, it's a big deal even to have those picks. Those are lots of really good players have been picked in that range in the early 30s. So, and I think this draft has the depth for it to matter. So from 6 to 35, just come enjoy yourself with us at Fassler Hall. It should be super fun. Our buddy Bangelope is going to bring name tags, and on those name tags, we want you to write your Twitter handle or maybe perhaps your YouTube handle or name or whatever it is on there so that we know who you are. And I think it'll be super fun. I'm just really excited. I'm excited we can all be together that night on such a fun event. And we've held these events before where it's just been the 21st pick or the 24th pick or whatever it is. But now, like, this means something. This is high stakes, Michele. This is a big deal. So join us.
I'm so sad that I can join. I'll try to join virtually if possible. Who knows?
Okay. Yeah. Through the power of the internet, we may bring you to the draft party.
Yeah, I'll be in my house in the mountains with my wife sleeping, so it will be kind of a terrible situation where I will risk my life to be there. But hey, priorities. That is
That's right.
So I'll try to be there.
Be sure to check out theathletic.com. You can go to theathletic.com/down-to-dunk to get The Athletic for $3.99 a month. You get all the content for that. And then you can also listen to, we're going to start releasing some more bonus content on the Athletic NBA show feed. And one of those is, I think I'm going to release it tomorrow, is a beat writer mock draft that I'm hosting.
Wow.
And you can get it on the Athletic app, or you can get it on, if you're subscribed to the Athletic Podcast Plus. So those are the two ways you'll be able to listen to it. So I did a short pod with every beat writer that works for the Athletic, 1 through 10. We talk about who's available, who they could pick, what the teams would want in trade. So like, everybody's intrigued about the Cavs. I talked to Kelsey Russo, who covers the Cavs, and we talked about what it would take for a team like OKC to get the third pick and what she thinks that would look like. There was a trade offer from the Raptors to OKC during this that is interesting. So be sure to listen to that, whether you listen to it on the Athletic app or Athletic Podcast Plus. I think it's $1 a month to subscribe to it on your Apple Podcast app. So that's how you'll get it. And once you're subscribed, it will just come, all those will just be in your feed. And if you're not subscribed, you will see it in your feed, but you won't be able to listen to it until you click it. So until you subscribe. So check that out at The Athletic. And then I know Sam Vecini's got a ton of stuff this week that's coming down.
He has his guide. I'm looking forward for it. Like,
yes,
it's supposed to be out tomorrow.
It's going to be out. I believe it's going to be out tomorrow. It's a book on the NBA draft. So it's so great. So be on the lookout for that. I believe this was released today on the Ringers draft guide. Man, I am so off my game. So they offer some friendly suggestions for players that OKC might take in this draft. And so they have everything lined out here. The Thunder I've been saying 35. Man, I am losing it, Michele. It's 36. So they have 6, 16, 18, 34, 36. I don't know why I keep saying 35.
Maybe they will trade back from 34 to 35 just to make you happy.
There we go. I need a break after the draft. I need a break. But I'll tell you, 3 of the guys that they have on here, Jalen Green, Kai Jones, and James Bouknight. And I think those are all very interesting suggestions for OKC. Kai Jones is a really interesting swing for the fences big man. So that one to me makes total sense. Jalen Green is good. Yeah. I like Kai Jones. I would actually, if they took him at 16 or 18, I would not be super upset with that.
You think he's there at 16?
I don't think so, but maybe. I think that from 7 to 20, I don't know what will happen. Like I really, really don't.
Yeah.
So I would be surprised if he was available, but I also wouldn't be surprised to see like Davion Mitchell there. Or to see Davion slip to even 14. Maybe the Warriors get him on their second go around with it.
Yeah. I mean, it's so flexible with all the picks and with the fact that there are tons of scenarios in which the Warriors can trade back or can trade up. I don't see them drafting 7 and 14. I see them moving somehow, either getting some proven veteran help because they have a legitimate shot to make the finals next year, especially if Clay is back and he's healthy. I mean, they were playing bad lineups. Like they were playing Toscano, Anderson, and Mulder in a playing tournament. I mean, there is a world in which they try to trade up with Wiseman and the 7th pick, or with just like there are possibilities to trade up if number 6 is someone who they like and OKC doesn't. Like something like 6 and 16 for 7 and 14 is not terrible for both. So I don't know where they will be, but it seems to me that some player is sliding quite badly after they rose a lot in the tournament / after the tournament. In the chat, someone said, well, why is Keon Johnson sliding and why is Davion Mitchell sliding? Well, because there are real questions about them.
Lots of concerns around both of them.
Keon Johnson, he is a great athlete, but if in 4 years he is where Diallo is today, I mean, I would be a little bit shocked, but not terribly. I mean, there's a chance in which there's a world in which he never is never able to be more than an athlete / scorer, but not really much else. And Davion Mitchell, his age and the shooting, those are like, the shooting is not a sure thing. If you want to draft a shooter from Baylor, you don't draft him.
Sure.
Like Butler is a better shooter. I mean, he's a better defender, clearly, but I mean, size, he's 6'1", maybe. Like, he shut down Cade, and that is true, but he is 3 years older than Cade, 4 maybe. Like, age at that time really matters. Like the way in which you learn how to put the body on another player comes with age. It's not a natural thing to do. Like it's not something that you learn at a young age. You learn going through like seasons and seasons, games, where you see how effective, how more effective you are if you really play hard. So it's natural to me that those guys are kind of not as high as a few weeks ago.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of crazy, honestly, that they were that high to begin with. I didn't quite understand it. There's some players that I've watched, and it was really whenever we watched Keon and Jalen Johnson, we watched them both back to back, and there's some mock drafts are still pretty high. But after I watched them, and we tried to watch them in order, just going backwards, and I hadn't watched a whole lot else. Like I've seen like a few YouTubes of everybody, but after I watched those two, I was like, oh no, maybe this draft sucks. Like that was my thought. Like maybe this draft isn't any good. And then I start watching other guys, and I was almost like a sigh of relief, where like Şengün and Giddey and Garuba and Moody and Kai Jones and
to me those are
Night and I mean those. It was like
is interesting.
I was relieved after watching those two, and then you see like the group after them. It was relieving because I do think there's lots of good guys in this draft.
Yeah, and Bouknight is an interesting name out there. My only counter, and we were discussing this before starting the podcast, is, well, if you draft Jalen Green, I mean, there's no question in my mind that you can put him alongside Shade and Dort and any other wing that OKC has. because he doesn't really need the ball in his hands at all times, and he's versatile enough. He's 6'6", 6'5", 6'6". He can play as a small wing. He has the game of a wing that can take the ball as a catch and shoot shooter, or out of a broken play, just make something happen. He doesn't really need the ball in his hands to be effective. Whereas Bouknight is a different kind of guy. He needs the ball in his hands quite a lot to be effective, and he didn't play without the ball at Connecticut, like almost like. And so I wonder if you have that player, maybe you say, well, I really want for him to spend a year playing off the ball just to learn. And if that is the case, okay. But I wonder about development time. And this is the case for all the guards that OKC may get in the draft, because drafting BPA, it's always important to me, but you also need to be mindful about the time that you have, because take Pokusevski. If you give him 0 minutes during the season, then what is the point on drafting such a high upside guy? Steven Adams, they gave him minutes from the beginning. Now the career arc was not the one that we hoped. But there was a time where in his career where Gobert or Adams, that was a question. So, and this goes to say that, whoever you draft, you really need to have clear in your mind what is the development time that he has available. Because if you draft someone between 1 and 18, you don't necessarily want that guy to go through the G League and just get playing time there. It can be a partial solution, but not a full solution for me.
Yeah, it depends on who it is. And it depends on how old they are. If you're drafting a 21-year-old, they gotta play for the Thunder. They gotta play with the big guys, right? If you're drafting an 18 or 19-year-old,
maybe.
If they need it, you could. But the Thunder have proven, with Poku, and they did send him down to the G League as much as they could, but they wanted him with the team too. They wanted him to play with the team. Steven Adams was a young player when he played for the Thunder. They've shown that they want those guys to be with the Thunder if they think they should be. And if they're sent down to the G League a lot, it could be quite concerning. One of the only, some of the only guys I would think could benefit from it, like Keon, I think could benefit from it some, from being in the G League. He will be drafted so high that a lot of those guys just don't go there. Jaden Springer is really young. I don't think he's 19 yet. That guy could benefit from playing in the G League. Zaire Williams is not crazy young, but he's under 20, and go get some minutes over there. Greg Brown, if they somehow ended up with Greg Brown, Greg Brown might be a G League player only. There's the possibility of those types of scenarios. I had a question posed to me from a colleague at The Athletic about the pick with the Orlando Magic, and I just wanted to get your thoughts on it. If the Magic offered 5 for 6 and 18, would you say yes?
Well, if that question, I think, implies that OKC's interest in a guy that is there. And this means also that OKC probably is okay with not drafting Kuminga. If that is the hypothesis there, then I would say yes in a heartbeat. If Barnes or Suggs are there.
Oh, if it's Suggs, it's just that's a no-brainer.
But it seems to be either Suggs or Barnes. I don't see any other guys there.
Yeah, that's who it would be. And I tend to think, I would say yes. Because I think I would rather have those two over Kuminga or whoever else is possibly available. Well, lots of guys are available there, but whoever else is available at 6, I think I might just rather have Barnes or Suggs there.
Yeah,
and they're more safe. Those are much safer picks than trying to take a Jonathan Kuminga or a Şengün or somebody, or Josh Giddey or whoever else you want to take a swing on. I mean, it's much safer to take Suggs and Barnes, and those guys are also swings to a degree.
Yeah. Yeah, to me, the only counter to that is say that Suggs is not there.
Yeah.
And you're higher on Barnes compared to Kuminga, but the evaluation that we have on Barnes, the grades that you have on Barnes are not too dissimilar to the ones that you have on Moody, Giddey, or guys like that. Then I would really try to see if there is a possibility to say, well, is there a way for me to get 8 from the Magic? Even maybe trading something else in the future, in drafting Moody and Giddey, something like that.
What if they give you 33?
Yeah, something that they like, or doing 7 and 14 and then trading 14 and 16, something around those lines where you, in some sense, you don't have to. You draft 2 players that are in the top 12 instead of one in the top 12 and the other in the late teens. That I think is reasonable, especially it depends a lot on your grades on Barnes, because I accept like an assessment where you say, well, Barnes is in the same ballpark as Giddey and Moody as a prospect. I don't see it with Suggs. I really don't. I see Suggs as a second best player in this draft, and to me, is not particularly close. But with Barnes, I can see that.
Yeah, I agree. I think it, from Barnes and Kuminga all the way down, it's just like, what do you like? You like a guy that has potential as a shooter and scorer, then you probably should take Moses Moody. If you like a multi-tooled defender that's going to be the heart and soul of your team and may or may not develop a jump shot, like Scotty Barnes, that's your guy. If you want the highest upside swing followed by maybe the lowest floor of anybody in the draft, like Jonathan Kuminga, come on down. You know, there's everything. If you want a big guy that can score as a roll man, as a guy that can hit mid-range jumpers, that can score around the basket, that can dunk on guys, that has some passing juice in there too, like Şengün. There he is. You know, there's just so many guys that I don't think we know. I don't know that we really even know who's the best at the top of the draft. A lot of people like to pretend they do. But then I definitely, of this group, I think that it's a lot closer. I don't think there's a distinct, everybody likes to have this distinct Scotty Barnes, Jonathan Kuminga tier. I don't think it exists, to be honest. I just think that it exists in the groupthink of NBA Twitter is where it exists. And it exists in the groupthink of the mock drafts that are out there. But I don't think there is a gap between those two and the rest.
Yeah, I mean, I was shocked to listen to Matt Penny and Sam Vecini discussing Franz Wagner at 6. And Penny is like, just listen to him talking for like half an hour. The guy does this as a job. He's a talent evaluator. And so if he says that Wagner, for him, is a better prospect than Barnes, you may agree or disagree, but at least you can tell that this is the margin between the two players is narrow. He's not super high, and he has Kuminga higher. There are guys that says that, like, maybe Bouknight is there, maybe Moody, maybe Giddey. So it's it goes to say that, I mean, you're right. I think that there is the top 4. To me, at least, there is the top 4. It is clearly different. Even the like 1 and 2 to me are pretty separated. I have no idea who I like more between Jalen Green and why the name of the big guy is slipping through my head right now. Mobley, sorry.
Mobley.
I don't know who I like the most. I think they are very close in talent and upside. But like from 5 to 10 or to 9, whatever, there are players to like, I think. So
yeah, Bouknight. There's a lot to like about James Bouknight. there are a lot of things he didn't show at UConn. I mean, he had more turnovers than assists. He had a extremely high usage rate.
Lightest.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be mad about that pick at 6. It wouldn't be what I would do, but I've gotten this wrong so many times. So has every GM in the league has gotten this wrong so many times. But if the Thunder evaluate him as the 6th best prospect, or even maybe even higher than that, then they'll take him. And perhaps it's true, because sometimes not everything you see on the tape is like everything that a guy can show. Like Russell Westbrook's like a key example of that. Russell Westbrook was like all defense, all hustle, garbage points, some developing jumper there that you were like, there's no way I trust the jumper at the NBA level. It's never going to happen for him. He's not a point guard. He's an off guard. Maybe he's a 6 man. Maybe he's Tony Allen. Like, we don't really know what he is. And then he goes on to be the best rebounding guard, triple-double machine, scoring machine, wins a scoring title. Like, if you told somebody during the draft evaluation that Russell Westbrook is going to win the scoring title, you would get laughed off the internet if that were the case.
You can lose a job for that. Like, as an evaluator, if you say something like that. And I mean, this is probably going to be a very silly remark, and it is like trivial, but it's not really about what they are right now. It's about the improvement, and this is what you should look for when you evaluate a prospect. Like, is he improving constantly? Is he plateauing? And this is something that scares me about Kuminga, for example. Like, when Penny was discussing, he said, well, in college, in high school, he was like a great scorer, so I trust him to be one at the next level. But the point is, he wasn't. Like, he didn't show development there. And to me, that is something that when I try to evaluate players as a random guy, not a guy that does it for work, is finding improvement. And this is where time plays an important role. Like, it's not age necessarily, but like if you improve step by step over your college career, over high school through college or whatever, then I can see like a pattern to be better. If you see a guy like plateauing and I say, well, he has good numbers. Like, for me, Kispert, for example. Kispert is a guy that, he improved from year 1 to year 2 to year 3, but he consolidated himself in year 4. He didn't really add like a lot of things. And so either you like Kispert as he is, or projecting improvement is hard. You can see him being as good in the NBA as he was in college on the things that he does best. But projected improvement to me is hard on Kispert. So this was like a very weird sentence to say that I really value like the pattern that they have even in a single college career, in a single college year. You need to look for that. With Shai, for example, and then I'll stop. You could clearly see the first part of the season where it kind of tested waters, and then in the second part of the season, it was improvement game by game. That is a very good sign that you really take care of. It's not everything, but you really need to consider that as a very important stuff.
Yeah. I don't disagree with that at all. And you look at guys like Evan Mobley and even Keon Johnson, like both guys got better in their individual seasons. Jalen Green got better as the season went on. Springer,
way
some
better.
Of that was health stuff with Springer. Şengün was actually good all season, but just had some strange circumstances with his team and started taking on a leadership role as the season went on and became like the guy for them. So like those things are also important to watch for. Davion Mitchell like won the title. It's like the guy for the Baylor Bears, and it was very significant. It makes you think about guys like Kai Jones, and you're like, I don't know. I don't know what this guy's going to be. I have no idea. That's terrifying. Zaire Williams, his year at Stanford was weird. I understand the stuff at Stanford is weird, but like there's like nothing there. Like you go and watch it and you just think there is nothing there.
Yeah.
Yeah. James Anderson is commenting that Book not only played 15 games.
Yes.
Yeah. That's also something. You know, he did play his whole freshman season, which is great. But yeah, the evaluation as this 30% usage player is 15 games. Yeah, it's not a lot of games.
So narrow.
It is tough. This is really, really tough. Even a guy like Sharif Cooper, who we're going to evaluate this week, like Cooper's a tough one. I mean, he put up great counting stats. I mean, he was 24 and 8. Like those are great counting stats. I don't care what school you play for. I don't care who you are. There's nobody else in the draft that put up those numbers. Nobody else did it. He did it, but and is probably has the best handle and is the best passer in this. Like he's probably the best out of anybody in the draft. But he has so many deficiencies that you're just like, I don't know. Like that's how I feel when I watch him. I say that to myself. There's so many things to look at, and like Josh Giddey, like 6'8", can really pass. Like this, like, and he's gonna have triple doubles as a rookie if he gets the time. Yeah, like that will happen. I mean, he's having triple doubles in international play at 18. If you talk about there's guys that just want it. He wants it. Like he wants to be the guy. He wants to win. He wants all of it. Everything you have, he wants it. And he wants to be the number one guy. And when I watch him play and I see him just going for it, even as he's like, I mean, there was one play where he hit his head so hard on the floor because he was playing so hard. I was just like, wow, like this guy doesn't care about anything but winning basketball games.
Yeah, he's an alpha, which scares a little bit. Scares me a little bit, but on the other end,
it doesn't scare me at all. I want it. I want him on this team because of that. And I don't know where he lands in the draft. I wouldn't be afraid to take him at 6. I absolutely would not be afraid to take him at 6.
Me neither. It's not my pick, but I wouldn't. Again, to me, that is the thing that I was saying before is if you somehow can get 7 and 9 and get Moody and Giddey, I would be as happy as if they take Kispert and Barnes.
Like I think so too. I think that having Giddey and Moody, it's the same swing. Because we're not talking about Jalen Suggs. We're not talking about Evan Mobley or Jalen Green or Cade Cunningham. We're not talking about those guys. Because if you have the chance to make those two swings like you said, where it's Kispert and Barnes, I would just take one. Give me both of those guys. Give me one of Suggs, Mobley, Green, or Cunningham. Just give me one.
Yes.
I just want one. And that's what's tough. But also, it's not certain because Josh Giddey could end up being the best player in the draft. Moses Moody can end up being better than Jalen Green. Like those things are possible because every year it's wrong. Every year we get it wrong. The NBA gets it wrong. The teams get it wrong. The draft evaluators get it wrong. Every single year it's wrong. Now, when a generational player comes through, like a Shaq, you don't get it wrong. When LeBron James comes through, you don't get it wrong.
Well,
those guys aren't here.
You kind of get it wrong also in those times, sometimes, depending on
if they don't go one. Like if you're evaluating Luka Doncic and you think that he's not the best player in the draft, you're wrong. Yes. You did it wrong.
You may be wrong. There is a question from Jack Yellow. I hope the pronunciation is kind of right. Where do you guys see Giddey's ceiling being? And he says like a role player. I think the ceiling is higher. I think
not ceiling. He's almost certainly a role player.
So take Rubio today.
Yeah.
What is Rubio for you? A good role player?
He's a good role player. A sweet man. That's what he is.
You can say that he's probably average in this league, an average role player. He was better a couple of years ago. He can function as a slightly better player than an average one in a specific system. I see Giddey as his floor as to be a player like that.
Yeah.
Because the passing is so great. The defense is good. He's very good. He is not like a super duper quick guy or an athletic one, but he really knows where to be and how to play. And so if you have passing, defense, and finishing ability, that is something that he was a crazy good finisher in Australia. LaMelo Ball was not a crazy good finisher. Like he was a much better. And LaMelo just shot. I mean, the shot is different. It's more natural. I mean, you will pick a LaMelo shot over Giddey's every day of your life. But the results were really good. And in the second part of the season, the jumpers started to drop for Giddey as well. So to me, like if you like, that is not the ceiling of a guy like Giddey. The ceiling of Giddey is much higher than a role player.
Yeah. He's like, if maybe Rubio is the type of ceiling that he has, but his attitude and his approach to the game is so different than Rubio. Like Rubio is so steady and happy, and he's just, I mean, he's so happy he's just floating around the court. You know, he's not even like the competitive drive is not. It's not that he's not competitive, because I think he's absolutely competitive.
Yes,
but he's not. It's not the only thing he cares about. You know, and you can see it as he plays. Like winning is not the only thing Ricky Rubio cares about, and that's fine. That's fine. It is fine to be that way. But Josh Giddey is different. He's just different than that.
Yeah.
And I think the comp is only good for two reasons. One, like he's got good length and he's a great and creative passer with both hands. Like that's that's it, right? And he doesn't shoot it, and he doesn't shoot it yet. Is also why the comp is there, and he's white, and that's why the comp is there.
No, it was not that, but it was like passing plus defense. That was my comp. But
I'm not saying you in particular, but I'm just saying it's just hard for people to think past the color of people's skin when it comes to like cross comparisons.
Yeah, I know. It's he plays like he will not be probably a full-time point guard from the beginning. But he can act as a functional wing that can make stuff happen off the dribble and be the guy that as soon as he gets the ball, he may be closer to a non-shooting Lonzo Ball in the first year of his career. Where a guy
or like Batum, even to a degree.
Yeah, without a shot though, which is a bad player. I realize that, but he has like such a great vision and feel that, I mean, again, if you draft a guy like that plus Moody or plus Bouknight, I currently like Moody a little bit more because of the fit, because of development time, and blah blah blah, because of defense, shooting, size, defense, blah blah blah, defense, and then defense. But there is a lot to like. So
it's great.
Shall we transition with this question? Is Lou's ceiling being Jrue Holiday? I would be amazed, but
Lou Holiday.
No.
I mean, what we're seeing from Jrue Holiday is everything that smart guy Twitter has been talking about for years with him, right? In these last like 3 games, it's just been every single thing. I was watching it. There was maybe one spot where I was at that had good cell reception, and I stood in that spot watching it on my phone. I watched the whole fourth quarter standing there on my phone with one of my buddies standing there with me, and it was astonishing. If that's Lou's ceiling, then that's really cool. Like, I don't know what to say. Like, that would be great.
Well, it's again, if this is the ceiling, then you may wonder if your timeline is a bit different, because I mean, if in 2 years, Lou Dort is as good offensively, like Jrue Holiday. I know that he shot the ball poorly during the playoffs, but he can shot 40% from 3 in the season. That is kind of different from what Lou is. And defensively, I know that Lou Dort is a good defender. He's a very good defender. But the aggression, the aggressiveness, like he destroyed the Suns, not by himself because Giannis did. Amazing stuff. Middleton was insane. And there was also a question that I answered on Thunder After Dark that I want to ask you as well.
Okay.
Like saying that Cade's ceiling is Middleton, to me is a little bit too low. But if you're talking about this version of Middleton, then there is something there. The offensive part in terms of shooting, that may be a good comp. I see Cade being more of a creator than Middleton is, to be honest.
Creator for others, yes.
Yes.
Definitely more of a creator for others. The comp is not bad, though, because the like athleticism questions, it's not bad. It's really not. If he's like a slightly better Chris Middleton, is that that's to me that's like a very likely outcome, right?
Yeah, maybe not the highest ceiling for Cade, but a very likely outcome to me. Even on the high side, though.
Yeah, I think so. Which is, it'd be disappointing. Like, he'll be good and he'll be efficient, and NBA Twitter smart guys will have to argue how good he is when everybody else is saying like he can't lead the Pistons to the second round. That's all possible. It's all possible. It's tough. Cade is there's not a lot of holes in Cade's game, but there's not a lot of like, wow, with Cade's game. So it's tough. He's a tough prospect to gauge for me. I think he'll be better than Middleton, but also like maybe that's insulting to Chris Middleton.
Well, if he's better than Middleton, then Detroit absolutely needs to draft him and just don't worry about any trade. Because if you can assure me today that he's better than Chris is today, then he is the right number one pick. Because in many drafts, you can draft Middleton with number one and being happy. Not in every draft. Because in like Luka Doncic is probably surely a better player than Middleton. But there are drafts in which if you draft Middleton with number one, you can say, well, I had the number two guy on a team that went to the finals and was up 3-2.
Yep. This is true. Let's go to the stream real quick. Hoopsock69 is here. Jack AO says, can we get your input on KOC saying the Thunder are high on book night? Assuming the Magic takes Scotty, how do you feel about it? We talked a little bit about that already. I don't know whether that's true or not, is my answer. I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know that KOC knows for sure if that's true or not either. So I don't know. He's got more NBA sources than I do. So I can't sit here and say that he's like some kind of hack or anything like that. Like I don't know. I just actually don't know. Kyle Hibbert is here. Josh Smith is here. He wants to see us move up to 3 or 4. That would be great. I would also like to see us move up to 3 or 4. Tom Bystander asks, why is Kuminga all of a sudden not wanted? I would gladly take him at 6. He's basically Poku of this draft when it comes to age, and he is a two-way player. He's only theoretically a two-way player. The only reason that you take him at 6,
theoretically the same age as Poku, by the way.
Yeah, sorry. I won't touch that. I won't touch that one. I don't. He's risk. And let's be clear, Poku is also a risk, but it's easier to take that risk at 17 than it is at 6. So that's why. Yes. Did you see anybody taking Poku at 6 last year? Nope. That didn't happen.
Did he have the talent to be picked at 16, at 6 or 7? Yes. If you do a redraft, you probably do.
Yeah. Jake Arndt says that he prefers James Book Day. So let's see. Let's see. Josh Smith again. Joseph Leyland is here. He says the draft is so close. Nathan Creamer is here. He wants Bones Highland. Have you watched much of Bones? I haven't watched much of him, to be honest. Christos from Greece is here. Alex Steele is here. Buster Nakamoto is here. He says that Andrew flipping to Suggs over Cade still has me shook. I just am way more certain of Suggs, and I love him, and he's great. Nathan Creamer says that
we're not alone in this. Like, listen to Sam and Matt talking about the fact that for them, Suggs is clearly the number 2 guy. Like, it's not necessarily the right opinion to have, but it's not like an uncommon opinion to have either. So,
Jared Zarin is here. Travis Vogel is here. Let's see who else. Poppin is here. He says he wants a Poku, Friends, and Rocco Big 3. He's not alone. James Anderson is here with us. Barrett Brown says that we need a down-to-dunk kids zone for the draft. So, Barrett, I've requested that the entire night be all ages. So, if you do want to bring kids, they're welcome to be at the draft party because of that. So, bring them. Let's see. Crimson King. Alex Bullerjack is here. What's up, dude? Andy Robinson is here. He says if Kuminga's the only one left in the top 6 and they don't pick him, who do you think the pick is? I've had the sneaking suspicion it's Şengün this whole time. I don't have information, but I just have the sneaking suspicion. That's what I've got. Do you have a pick?
Who knows? Maybe the Magic are in love with Bouknight. And you just pick him at 5, and you pick Barnes at 6 or Suggs. That can happen as well. I think that Bouknight and Moody, and I don't see Şengün being picked at 6. I would be extremely surprised. There is no value in doing that. Like, he's mocked in the late teens. Like, I'm not saying that.
We don't know who likes him, though. We just don't know.
Yes, but mock drafts are more related to who teams like compared to what's the real value of the player. So I would be surprised if a team picks him. If they pick Franz Wagner at 6 or Giddey or Moody or Bouknight, I can see that because you don't really know what's between 6 and 12, 6 and 13.
I don't know. I would not be happy about Franz Wagner at 6.
No, me neither. I don't see. But he was a guy that was mentioned there. So I think there are teams that are around it. Like Charlotte, to me, that is a great team for Franz Wagner. He would be awesome.
Yeah, it's a nice fit.
So you don't know. Like, you cannot wait for him at 16. Whereas with Şengün, I think that there is a power play, like a trade to be made in around 13, 14, 12. I mean, say that the Spurs are on to Franz Wagner as well, and he's not there. Yeah. And I say, well, maybe 12 for 16 and 18 is a it's a tall price to pay. But if Şengün is your guy, then I would much rather draft a guy at 6 and then Şengün.
I mean, ESPN does have him at 16. This is from a while ago. But I would be pumped and also jacked if they could take him at 16.
Yeah, there's a good pick there. That there is value.
A great pick. There's great value. That is insane value to me.
Yeah, but you can also package 16 and 2 second round picks and maybe a swap or something like that. If you want to go to 14, 13. I mean, there are teams where I think you can make a trade that makes sense.
Yeah.
You can trade Kenrich Williams.
And then the value is good. Yeah. I'm just telling you, I just have the sneaking suspicion that Şengün will be on the Thunder. One way or another.
I mean, I would love to have him there. Just please extract value out of that pick and not Like picking him at 6.
Yeah.
Like,
I
don't know.
I just know the Thunder aren't afraid to do what they want to do.
I know. But
that's all I know.
They didn't trade like too much. They traded to get Poku at 16, not at 10.
Yeah. No, I agree. I hope they don't take him at 6. James Anderson thinks that Moody has a Middleton upside.
Yeah.
Very possible.
Ceiling. So that to me is an absolute ceiling for Moody.
Yeah. I love Moody as well. James, I'm with you. I really like Moses Moody. I would like for him to be on the Thunder.
I would like for him to be on the Thunder and being as good as Middleton as well.
I'll take both. Please give me both. All right. Thanks so much for tuning in to the show. If you are listening on YouTube, we thank you for subscribing to our YouTube page. I think we crossed 2,000 YouTube subscribers. Let's get that to 3. Let's bump that up. If you're listening to this pod right now, open up your YouTube app, search Down to Dunk, hit subscribe, like and subscribe, smash that subscribe button, do all those things. Be on the lookout for the Athletic Beat Writer mock draft. I've been working a long time on this. I'm ready to be done with it. I'm ready to let you guys listen to it. So go check that out. We'll have another pod for you Wednesday with Alex Spears. And McKellar, we have one more pod between now and the draft. One more for you and me. That's it. So get ready.
Talk finals next Monday and draft.
Yeah. We'll have a champion also next Monday.
Wow.
All right. Thank you guys for listening, and we'll talk to you guys again